Banjo Kazooie is the classic N64 platformer starring the iconic Bear and Bird duo as they explore various different worlds, collecting notes, Jiggies, and a variety of other collectibles while foiling the plans of Gruntilda the Witch. While many players are content with just exploring the worlds of Banjo Kazooie, today we'll be taking a deeper look at all things Banjo as we dive into the Banjo Kazooie Iceberg. For those of you who don't know, an iceberg image contains trivia, mysteries, and theories on a certain topic, with the entries getting more obscure and outlandish the deeper you go. As is standard for these types of videos, I'll be representing my confidence in each entry with a health bar. Full health means I'm completely sure about what I'm talking about, and an empty health bar means I'm completely in the dark. Now that we've explained everything, let's dive right in. To start us off, we have the Weird West world. As the name implies, this was a scrap level from Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts that would have had a Western aesthetic. Even though the level was scrapped, some concept art still remains, as well as hints to its existence in the final game. In Banjo Tooie, all of the Jinjos collected can be found in their homes in the Jinjo village. During the opening of Banjo Tooie though, the home of the Great Jinjos was destroyed by the Hag 1, and they are not seen for the rest of the game. They do appear in Grunty's Revenge on the GBA though. The Ice Key is part of one of the most infamous Banjo Kazooie mysteries, Stop and Swap. The Ice Key can be found in Waz's Cave and was part of a scrapped concept that would have allowed you to transfer the item to the sequel, Banjo Tooie, and possibly even Donkey Kong 64 to unlock extra content. In the final area of Gruntilda's lair, you can find two doors that cannot be opened. While I'm not entirely sure that this is what the entry is referring to, both these doors are equally as mysterious. Many fans of the original Banjo games were disappointed when the third core entry in the series, Nuts and Bolts, strayed so far from the formula of the first two games. This entry states that despite the differences between Nuts and Bolts and the original, it's still the third core entry in the series and is basically the third game. Groggy is one of the polar bear children who appears in both Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. They were originally going to appear in Nuts and Bolts, but were cut for time, with only their father Boggy making an appearance in the final game. Banjo X was a cancelled remake of the original Banjo Kazooie game that was supposed to slowly change from the original game as it progressed. This is such a cool concept, and it's honestly a shame that it got scrapped. It's also the origin for this test animation, which is going to haunt my dreams. Horrifying. The YouTube channel DYKGaming that makes videos based on video game trivia has uploaded 2 Banjo Kazooie videos. The original video has been considered outdated, and a new updated version was uploaded in 2016. The Cutting Room Floor is a website that documents all kinds of cut content in various games. This website contains a lot of information about the various unused features throughout the Banjo series. Before Banjo Kazooie was originally created, it started out as a game called Project Dream. This version of the game was wildly different from what we ended up getting, and I recommend watching this video by the developers at Rare if you want to know more. The link will be in the description. To coincide with the release of Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Microsoft and Rare teamed up with Oscar Mayer to release special Banjo Kazooie themed Lunchables products. As part of this promotion, a Flash game was released. Since Adobe Flash will soon lose all major support, this game will become even more obscure as time goes on. I'm not sure if there are any special rumors based on this game releasing on the DS, but like all GBA games, Grunty's Revenge can be played on a Nintendo DS. Space World was an old trade show that would showcase upcoming Nintendo hardware and software. In 2000, a demo for a new Banjo game running on GameCube hardware was shown, although sadly we would never get to see more of this project, since Microsoft purchased Rare before any Banjo games could release on the GameCube. Log's Video Game Factory is a location featured in Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Although it is a real location in the game, the mystery comes from the fact that there's no way to enter the building. A Banjo Kazooie cartoon was in the works around 2007 and was meant to release alongside Nuts and Bolts, but sadly, the project was scrapped, and all that's left of the project is a few pieces of concept art. Gobi the Camel is a character who appears throughout the Banjo Kazooie series. This theory claims that Gobi dies after constantly getting his water stolen by the bear and the bird. As far as I can tell, this is just meant to be a slightly creepy theory, as his appearance in Banjo Pilot proves that he's still around after Banjo Tooie. Chontron is a YouTuber who used to post mainly Nintendo-related video game content on YouTube. One of his most popular videos was about Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, where he had a rather negative opinion about the game.
Cars?
This theory claims that not only did John cause the animosity against Nuts and Bolts, but also did it intentionally. While this theory might have some truth to it, in reality, most of the fans were disappointed with the direction the series took even before John made his video. Rescuing Banjo's sister Tooty is the main driving force of the plot in Banjo Kazooie. Outside of a few references though, Tooty never appears in the series after the first game. Even the developers were aware of her sudden disappearance, since her picture can be found on the back of a milk carton in Cloud Cuckoo Land in Banjo Tooie. This is nothing more than a fun idea, since there's no trace of a story mode in any form in Banjo Pilot. There's nothing in the final game, and I couldn't find any information on a cut story mode. I just wanted to quickly add that I actually went and played Banjo Pilot while I was editing this video, and I found out what this entry was probably talking about. Although the game has no story, you could say that collecting the lost Cheeto pages could count as a story, as well as the fact that this game is implied to be a prequel, which kinda debunks the evidence I used to prove Gobi was alive, but you know, you win some, you lose some. Okay, thanks, bye. The rain dance is a move that Mumbo can use in Banjo Tooie. I'm not sure what it's doing so far down here though, since there's a pretty clear answer to what it is, but I might be missing some crazy rumor related to the move. But when we're talking about crazy rumors, this next entry takes the cake. Boggy is a character who appears throughout the Banjo Kazooie series. Thankfully, even though many of the players' interactions with Boggy involve him eating something, his children are never on the menu. While this may seem like another outlandish theory, Banjo and Kazooie do actually appear in Conker's Bad Fur Day, another game made by Rare. Since Diddy Kong Racing confirms that Conker and Banjo take place in the same universe, the state of the duo in this game is troubling to say the least. Contrary to what that prototype footage would have you believe, Mumbo is not actually a villain, and he helps out the bear and bird on multiple occasions. With the notable exception of his appearance in the Game Over cutscene in Banjo Kazooie, there's really no evidence of him being a villain. Since Mumbo is shown to be around in the past in Grunty's revenge, it could be assumed that he was the one that taught Grunty how to use magic. Although this theory seems plausible, the fact that Grunty attended witches school and the fact that her sisters in Banjo Tooie are also witches easily debunks this theory. Banjo Kazooie was a prototype of a cancelled Banjo racing game. Many of its ideas went on to future games like Nuts and Bolts, and one of the prototype vehicle designs shows up as Banjo's car in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing on the Xbox 360. The fact that the Jiggies are used to open up new worlds in each of the games, combined with the existence of Master Jiggy Wiggy and his temple, imply that the Jiggies are sources of a mysterious power. Laylee is a game created by Playtonic Games, a studio that consists of many of the same people who worked on previous Rare games. Aside from the similar aesthetic, there are a few references to the original Banjo Kazooie, such as the duo obtaining an ice key, and a reference to Conker's Bad Fur Day. On certain platforms, the console versions of Minecraft feature Skin Pack 1, a Minecraft skin pack containing various Microsoft characters, including many from the Banjo Kazooie series. This, paired with the fact that a character who used to be featured in Stampy Longnose's Minecraft series used a Banjo skin, means that many people were probably first introduced to the character from Minecraft. Klungo is the minion of Gruntilda in the first two Banjo games. In Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Klungo has his own arcade, which could parallel Rare since they have developed a few arcade games. Banjo Kazooie Grunty's Revenge includes the level Breagle Beach, which contains Breagle birds. Since Kazooie is the same species, it's implied that Kazooie's family would come from this location, but they are not seen. The Great Jinjo War is a theory that claims that the Minjos and Jinjos once lived in harmony, but a conflict arose that led to a war that separated the two. Mad Monster Mansion is a location in the original Banjo Kazooie, and with the exception of a few ghouls and other miscellaneous monsters, we've never seen anyone who could actually own the mansion, leaving the identity of its original owner a mystery. In Banjo Tooie, we're introduced to Bottle's family, which includes his brother, wife, and 2 children. Since we never get to see his parents, Bottle's father remains unknown. In Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Log is an omnipotent being who sets the plot of the game in motion. Considering what we see him do, and how he's aware of the fact that the characters are in a video game, it would make sense to think that he had a hand in the creation of this universe. Although saying that every character was dead is a fairly worn-out creepypasta trope, considering the fact that we haven't had a new Banjo game in nearly 13 years, this could be a grim reminder of the state of the franchise. That covers just about everything I could dig up about the Banjo Kazooie Iceberg. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click the dislike button and unsubscribe, and I'll see you guys next time when I discover who really sank the Titanic.